Welcome back to the show, The Unbroken. I am your host, as always, Sam Davis, and again, I am solo in the studio. Look, you're doing everything you're doing with your addicted loved one because you love them. You want to see them get well, and you're absolutely terrified that you're going to lose them, and you're going to lose yourself in the process if you haven't already, to some degree. But love isn't enough to get an addicted individual moving. From that love, all the things that your family members and your friends are telling you you're enabling and you need to quit and why are you doing this? You got to let them hit bottom, and you're just over there just pouring love out to them, trying desperately to create some change in them. If I can just give them some help, just pay their rent, it'll give them a leg up, it'll give them a hand up. And also what it does, it shows them that I love them, because there's that within you as well. There's like, if I just show them that I love them enough, if I show them that they're loved enough, then they will change. So you pay their rent. You make excuses for them at work. You make excuses for them to the rest of your family. You bail them out of jail. You hire attorneys. You provide them a car. You provide them a place to live. For crying out loud, my mom was so terrified and trying to control the situation so much, and because she loved me so deeply, is that she bought a house down the road from her to put me in, to keep me safe and to keep their eye on me. And if they just had me in a nice neighborhood and provided me this, that I would catch traction, snap out of my insanity, and live a life of abundance on my own. She was doing the best that she could with what she knew. What she really knew is, God, I just love him so much. He's my son, and I'm losing him. What do I do? They'd bail me out of jail. They'd provide me with groceries. When I'd go in with my hand out, asking for $20 or $100, or I need $1,000 for this, they did it because they loved me. And they thought that that love was going to be enough to create the change in me that was needed for me to recreate my life. And it didn't work. What really was happening, and I ask families this, I say, listen, based on the experiences of what you've shared with me, of what you've been doing with your addicted loved one, do you believe that if they were to burn their life to the ground and then get well, don't get lost in the weeds about how they get well, they get well, do you truly believe that your loved one is talented and gifted enough that if they were to burn their life completely out and then get well, that they could rebuild it from the ground up? They're like, yeah, absolutely. They're highly intelligent. And they're right. I believe that God created us to be addicted individuals to keep us from taking over the world because we're above average in intelligence and ability. And families know that as well. And I'm like, well, if you truly believe that, why do you continuously put the mattress underneath of their fall? Families get in their head that they are just helping their addicted loved one. They're trying to give them self-esteem, and families cannot give their loved one self-esteem. They can only take it away. And the messaging that they're really giving their loved one when they're paying rent, when, I'm talking about adults here, like 25, 26, 30, 40. I've had a woman contact me and said, I just don't know what I'm going to do with my son. He's laying in the basement. He won't get off the sofa. He's drunk all the time. He won't do anything. He won't go to work. He just won't straighten up. And she was talking like he was a late teenager. And I said, well, ma'am, how old is he? 52. And I'm like, holy smokes here. Your alcoholic son is not the only issue here, right? So, but just getting back on task here, the message that you're really sending your loved one when you just love them and want to see them do well and you're trying to give them self-esteem, the message that you're really sending your loved one is that I don't have faith in you. I don't think you can stand on your own. I don't think you can go out here and handle struggle. I don't think you're equipped to go out here and live life successfully. So therefore, I don't trust you. I don't trust that you can do this. So I have to do everything for you. And then what happens is families, they don't even really realize that they're treating their addicted loved one like a substance. The same way that their addicted loved one is using substances, you're using your addicted loved one to change the way that you feel. You repeat behaviors over and over again, expecting a different result, just like your addicted loved one ingests substances over and over again, expecting a different result. It's the same stuff. You're not providing rent. You're not providing housing or cars or attorneys or spending money because it's helping them. Because your experience will show you that it's not helping them. It's causing more harm. But you continue to do it because it changes the way that you feel. You know, based on experiences, it's not helping them, but it changes the way you feel momentarily. It gives you a little bit of relief. So you continue to do it over and over and over again. So you're using your loved one the same way that your loved one is using substances. And that can be a very painful thing to hear, but that's the absolute truth. So what you're intending to message to your loved one is coming out totally different. And it really builds more shame and guilt, because really what's underneath an addicted individual is all the stuff, like all the stuff, all the ego, all the bravado, all of the resentment, the yelling, the seemingly overload of confidence that they have when their life is completely in flames. Underneath all of that, when you get real, is shame. That's what's there. So if you got an adult, whether it be a son or a daughter, and you're providing them housing, let's say they're 30 years old, they graduated college, they used to have a good job or whatever, and then they're kind of tanking, and you're providing them housing, you're providing them a vehicle, you're providing them spending money, you're paying some of their bills, you're monitoring their bank accounts, and you're checking their phones, just like they were 15 years old. Is that individual, you have to think that they're trying to mingle with other people in society that is their age and of their demographic, and they're watching their friends get married, have careers, be on their own, paying their own bills, having their own investments, and they're sitting there not sharing it with their friends that their mom or their dad is funding everything that they do, but they know it internally. Kills their self-esteem. Kills it. One of the best things, I'll never forget this with my mom. I was 1,500 miles away. I'd been sober about a year, a little over a year, about 14, 15 months. And I had been in treatment for almost a year. So, I hadn't had a whole lot of time out in the free world. And I had lived in sober living. And then I was renting a room from another sober guy. That's kind of how it goes. And I was talking to her about how hard it is to pay rent and how hard it is to make ends meet. And I wasn't asking her for anything. And she very quickly, and this was 14 years ago, 13, almost 14 years ago. And she's like, I'm sure you'll figure it out. She very quickly jumped in there and set that boundary without saying, I am not giving you this. She said, I'm sure you'll figure it out. That was a clear message to me that you're on your own, bud. And I believe in you. I truly believe in you that you can do this. You will figure it out. Now, why is that? What I remember about that conversation so many years ago, when my mother and I had many conversations through that time period, many interactions, I remember that because it was powerful. It was opposite of what she had shown me for years and years and years before. She was really telling me, I believe in you. You've got this. You're an adult. Go do it. And it fueled me. I know you love your loved one. I know that you believe in your loved one down in there. But things have gotten all twisted up. And you're showing up in ways that you don't want to show up. And you feel stuck. And your loved one's stuck as well. So one way that I know that you can get unstuck is to start getting educated about what's really going on, about what's really driving you. There's so many fears that are going through people's heads. You make an agreement in your head that if you don't provide your loved one a car or provide them housing, one of the biggest lies, I'm going to say this, one of the biggest lies that you've made up in your head, like you just made it up and you've said that, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is fact. This is going to happen, is that if you offer your loved one a place to go get well treatment and they refuse and you're saying that, hey, well, you can't stay here, that they're going to go out on the street and die. You've made that agreement in your head that that is what is going to happen, and therefore you stay stuck based on a fantasy that you have created in your own mind due to fear. When you are uneducated about what exactly the problem is with addiction, and you have no understanding fully about what's really going on in your life, and you're driven by fear, there are no guardrails in your head, and fear knows no bounds. It runs rampant and has you doing all sorts of really silly, ridiculous things that when you drop back into logical thinking, it becomes very aware that, wow, what the hell was I doing? You were in fear thinking. That's what you were doing. And then you toggle back and forth between fear and logic. And it's just not it's like ping pong. You bounce back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's exhausting and nothing changes. So what I would recommend is educate yourselves on what addiction actually is and what your role in that is. Every family has a role to play, and to determine what role you've been playing, and to educate yourselves on solution, get informed, build a team around you, and get prepared to take some action, and you can get out of this mess. You just can. Not everyone's going to be saved. It's just not going to happen. I heard a lady the other day, she wrote a comment on a piece of content that I did, and she said, so am I just supposed to kick them out and then they go out here in the street and die? What if I kick them out on the street? Or what if I kick them out? It's always the wording is just boom. Now, if I'm supposed to kick them out and put them out on the street, what if they die? Well, what's your alternative? To continue on enabling the illness, allowing them to unravel, and to watch their own demise, taking you down with it? The reality is that I had a friend of mine who got killed going to work the other day. Got killed in a car crash going to work. Does that mean that you shouldn't go to work? No. You show up, you suit up, you do what you're supposed to do because it's the appropriate thing to do. And God takes care of the rest. I've heard a lot of excuses that families have created in their head and are standing on business on that prevents them from taking action and keeps this chaos going. You don't have to be those families. Come to our family support groups. They're from Sunday night to Thursday night throughout the week. Great topics, no pressure. You don't even have to turn your camera on. It's on Zoom. You don't have to leave your living room. You don't have to do anything except tune in. You don't have to talk. You don't have to show your face. You don't have to do any of that. Let that information soak in. Start arming yourself with the facts about your intolerable situation, and watch some others. Lean on others who have taken action before you. Be helpful to people that haven't taken the action that you've taken. And you'll see the change in your family. You'll see the change in yourself. I hope you all enjoy this quick little clip. And I hope that you'll be good to yourselves today. And I hope that I'll see you on a Zoom family support meeting tonight. Y'all be well.